Good evening. It is 7 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. Dave Glovin, Boogie with the Bull, Thursday Night Live. That's Boogie with the Bull, Thursday Night Live for May 23rd, 2024. Is on a device somewhere near you. If it's not, it should be. We're live on Facebook on the Dave Glovin profile in 1 million Facebook groups. And we are live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Both of those, my profile and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, have a live chat. You can watch and be part of the fun there. Over on at Boogie WT Bull, the Boogie with the Bull X profile, you can watch the broadcast, but I do not believe you are part of the live chat. You can watch it on X. You can retweet it on X. You can make me happy. If you're a friend of Rob Reiner's, 8 million people on Twitter, go and post it on his profile every day and let Rob know that we're still thinking of him and thinking about nominating him for the most stupidest thing one could say on the internet award for 2024. More information about that later. We scroll down here, get into the Boogie with the Bull live chat on Dave Wilson profile. Thanks to modern technology, we got it on one click. The live chat on the Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live broadcast on the Dave Wilson profile is now open. Come and be in there or watch on the profile. If I see you watching, I'm going to invite you to come into the broadcast because it is more fun if you are in the live chat and part of the fun. Also, give me a second here. Look, that's not the one. That's the one I want. I scratch what little hair I have left. That's the one I want. This will kick on the link. The link will be on the screen. If you are a Facebook broadcaster of your own or a broadcaster on Rumble or LinkedIn or even anywhere else and you're watching and you want to be on the broadcast, please take this opportunity to copy the link and bring yourself into the green room, and we will bring you on. If you've never been on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, it's a little bit more complicated. If you take the link and go to StreamYard, open it up in Chrome. You have to open it up in Chrome because it only works in Chrome. Then it takes 10 to 15 minutes to go through the setup procedure, and then we'll drop you in the green room. I'll see you in the green room, and we'll bring you on. Boogie with the Bull broadcast open to anybody. You don't have to be a citizen journalist, a citizen broadcaster. You just have to be a person who wants to come on and share your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with the panel. You don't have to agree with those watching. You just have to have an opinion and come in and share it. Something I want to let you know about is Saturday, the 25th. Give you a chance to open this up again and get to it. Down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Saturday, May 25th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the, let me get here again, Tomoco Town Center. Tomoco Town Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. Possum Family Fun Festival. Again, it's Saturday, the 25th. All pets are welcome. There are raffle prizes. A DJ will be spinning awesome tunes. There will be face painting for you and your kids, balloon artists for you and your kids, a pet parade for you and your kids and your pets, and there will be rescue and adoptions available if you're looking to rescue and or adopt a pet. Something very important. So once again, Saturday, May 25th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Tomoco Town Center in Daytona Beach, Possum Family Fun Festival. For more information, I want you to go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. The Family Treasures Facebook page. There are about 11 likes and 29 followers. And under page details, the gift shop. So if you find that page, that's the page you want. That is my wife Donna's crochet page. Go there and look. You will see beautiful, awesome, handmade crochet items from my wife, who has been crocheting for over 50 years. And just makes really beautiful stuff, really cool stuff that your family will love and treasure forever. I promise you that. If you don't see things that you are interested in on the page, then scroll back up to the top, hit that blue message tab, and custom order something. They can do that and they will ship it to you. I can't quote your prices, but can help you get more information. So once again, if you are in the Daytona Beach area on Saturday, May 25th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Tomoka Town Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, Possum Family Fun Festival. Try saying that 3 times fast. From 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tomoka Town Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. All pets are welcome. My wife might even have me on a crocheted leash. So look for the Family Treasures and Willow's Craft Corner booth and drop by and say hello and bye. That's all I can say. Have to support the family business when it is as good as it is. Give me a second to change this on this screen over to here where I want to be. And it did not come up there. Hold on a minute. Awesomeness of technology radio. Anyway, I don't know. We're here, and it's Thursday, and Randy Rhodes was going to join me. Unfortunately, he had to bail at the last moment. His family has come to visit him, and he is tied up. Jen Woodruff is going to be here at some point, and Jen created a really cool project for herself in our groups of asking a question and hoping to see what answer she would get, and then come here and we would ask the question to anyone who is watching and listening and see what your answer is and make it part of the conversation. And that's going to happen on either Tuesday or Thursday each week when Jen is with us, or both days. Maybe even on Fridays if Jen is with us tomorrow morning for Boogie with the Bull. Red Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern here on Facebook and YouTube and X and Truth Social and Twitter. And Truth Social, that's Boogie, my profile, Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, at Boogie WT Bull on X. We will be on Truth Social. We will be on Streetlock and a few other places. And if we don't get them hooked in live, we will get them on the podcast immediately after. Yes, on Truth Social, X, and on Streetlock. I am a few days behind getting prior episodes posted. I didn't get it embedded properly in some places, so give me a chance, and I promise we will get that fixed up. Beautiful day outside. I hope everybody had a great day. William Grant is watching. William Grant has watched now more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts than anybody in the 5-year history of Boogie with the Bull, including Danny Campbell. Unless Danny Campbell logs on and watches tonight. If Danny Campbell watches any portion tonight, then they're tied. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Red Friday Morning Caffeine. If Danny Campbell comes on first, he will then have watched more than William Grant. If William Grant comes on, he will have watched more than anybody else. So good evening to William Grant. Suzanne Haddix is in the house, and hope you had a wonderful day, and I'm glad that you're here. If you want to see more Boogie with the Bull on Facebook, please take the like button and click that, and then also take the share button and share it all over where you can on Facebook. If you are off of Facebook and you want to share it, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and take it from there, and we would appreciate that. So we're waiting momentarily for Jen Woodruff to come in and go with the question. If there's a delay and Jen doesn't have it, I may just ask you the question. It's a conversation that we've had before, and I'm really interested in it. Otherwise, if you're watching in the live chats and you got something you think we should be talking about, type that in and say, let's talk about it. I kind of thought about this before I came on tonight, and it's like every night I say we're not going to do a rehash or a rinse, wash, repeat broadcast of the one we did before, and we always do because the news is the same. Joe Biden is still in the White House. Why we don't know. Joe Biden is not uh, in charge and put away forever if that's going to happen, or the real guilty people haven't been charged and put away forever. Uh, Donald Trump, who a lot of people believe was elected president of the United States in 2020, you know, or wondering whatever's going to happen there. I don't know if anything is ever going to happen there. We bring it up a lot. I bring it up a lot because a lot of times people will ask me, what do you think should happen? Because he didn't get the opportunity to serve for 4 years. Should he get an additional 4 years and go 2024 to 2028 plus 2028 to 2022, 2032? I thought about that in the beginning, then people kind of said, no, what they think needs to just happen is we just move on. We don't add any more fuel to the fire. We don't change presidential history and election history to make a big mess of everything. We just kind of sweep it under the rug and learn from it, but move on. I have said at times that it's not like Donald Trump got cheated and didn't get a presidential paycheck for 4 years because that's a former president gets his presidential salary as his pension for life. So he still got paid for it. But I don't know if we're ever going to be able to decide what happens. And really, in order to be able to decide what needs to happen, some Democrats have to be tried, and they have to look at attorneys and judges and tell the judges what they think should happen. And is that going to happen? I don't know. You will hear me say time and time again that I hope that President Trump's agenda coming back in 2024 is not to go after everybody and just vindicate himself from everything, but to sit down and start doing what America needs done. Get our southern border finished so it is completely secure. They have to work with the Indians who have the reservations that go through some of it, but I don't really care. Sit down, get it all worked out, and get some kind of a permanent border there that is properly patrolled with the latest technology that keeps people out once and for all. Next step from there, yes, you've heard President Trump say a lot of people are going to get deported. Well, you know what? A lot of people deserve to get deported. And what may get dragged into this kicking and screaming and against all this is those wonderful DACA kids who kind of claim that they got dragged here years ago on different presidents and were forced into coming here. And because they never became naturalized citizens, they didn't get to enjoy the American dream. And in some cases, they did get to enjoy the American dream, but they're not citizens. So what should happen with them? Well, you'll probably only hear me say this once before Jen Woodruff says to me, don't ever say this again. And what that is, what I mean, is that I thought about this one for a long time. The DACA kids got dragged here by parents who came here illegally. The kids didn't know or understand that it was illegal for their parents to come here and to bring them here. So, and some of these kids did the right responsible thing. They went to school, they grew up, they got jobs, they went to college, they got jobs, they're paying taxes, they're working here side by side with American citizens. So maybe, just maybe, and I guess you probably have to look at an age. You have to look at an age. If they're over 18 and they're a legal, they're voting and on their way to being 21 and being a legal naturalized citizen of the United States, then maybe some concessions get made. But, you know, On the other hand, it's not our fault that your parents dragged you here illegally. They came here illegally. I don't feel good when I hear of illegal immigrants that have been here in the United States for decades, working on centuries, and they lived and did the right thing, but they were illegal the whole time. Anyway, that's enough for the opening rant. Jen Woodruff is here. I told you that Jen has a segment that is hopefully going to happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and even Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if she wants to pop in on those shows, where Jen posted a question in our groups today and got some fascinating answers. I just went by to see if people responded, and I was blown away with the number of responses that came up in our groups. And it's a question that we've talked about here on Boogie with the Bull before. It's being discussed all over Facebook. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jen, and I'm going to start sharing the broadcast anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, good to see you, Dave. My turn. Anyhow, I wanted to talk about the first question that I posted last week, and I was wrong. If I was a superhero, I know what my name would be. It would be misunderstanding, because I can take anything that anyone tells me, hear it wrong, misconstrue it, and God forbid it had an acronym and I had the wrong words for the acronym. But we were talking about digital currency last week, and there's this acronym out there, and it was CD, no, CBDC. And what it
CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency Card, or Central
see
Bank Digital Card, whatever. But that's what it is.
Where were you when I needed you? I thought it stood for digital or coin-based digital currency. It doesn't. There is nothing wrong with digital currency. Nothing. And even coin-based, there's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. What we're going through is the same thing that they were going through in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Remember when all of the people went to George Bailey, George Bailey's build and loan bank, and they were all trying to take out their money. Well, it's the same thing. He said, "You can't, we don't have money here." I mean, cash is king, and they wanted their cash, and he didn't have it. He says, "Your money is invested. Your money's over in Martini's bar. It's over in that guy's barn. It's over in this housing project." Because that's what they do. They invest it to make more money. And that's what digital currency is like. Okay. It's not a bad thing, it's a beautiful thing. The thing that's tricky about it is how you turn it back into cash, but it's worth cash. And people were saying things like, because digital currency is just numbers, it's nothing, it's imaginary, until you turn it into something of value. So, what you turn it into is precious metals, a precious metal coin, or a precious gold. If you get enough of it, a gold bar. And it's like, how do you do that? Well, you have to go to a website that will convert. Let's say I sold something on eBay and someone paid me on PayPal. What I would have to do is take that number of digital currency and then go to somewhere like birchgold.com. And then you go to Birch Gold, and with my $20, I could buy a coin, a gold coin. So now that's my substance, that I turn the money into gold. And then what you have to do to be able to spend that gold coin is they give you a card, like a credit card, which is how everyone pays. And it's not a bad thing to pay with a card. We're just all scared. We're like, oh, it's digital. I'll tell you what the scary part is, but we didn't get there yet. This is all still good. This is good. So, okay, so you take the money, which is like imaginary numbers, imaginary money. You can't see it, but it's a good number. It's $20. And you can buy this tiny little penny looking thing at Birch Gold, and you own that gold. And then what they do is they give you this screen that says, on this side, this is how much cash you've invested. This is how much gold is backing it. And on your credit card, they load the amount onto this card, and you can go to McDonald's with that credit card, and you can buy a Big Mac, not for $20, thank God, but you could get a Big Mac meal. You could get your sandwich, your fries, and your Coke, and you're paying for it with legit cash money, but it's in the form of numbers on your card, and it comes out of a real bank. Now, the scary part about this, that is a beautiful story. It ends good too. And that's a link that I put in the groups about, say the acronym again, Dave, what was it?
Not
CB. No,
CBDC,
no, yeah, that was another
Central
story.
Central Bank, which is the Fed Reserve, Central
That's
Bank
scary.
digital currency. There is, I do want to say, just from my point of view, there's nothing wrong with digital currency because if you
Right.
have a debit card from your bank or you have a credit card, you've been dealing in digital currency for years.
Yeah,
You don't
we
have that
have.
money in you don't have that money in your hand. Your bank doesn't have it in your branch, but your bank pays the bill. So
Exactly.
so it works. I like it just because I don't carry cash anymore. I
Right.
just,
Who
you know,
does? Yeah.
you know, I can't afford
Anyhow.
to carry cash anymore.
Right. Well, anyways, what they did is they banned in Congress, they voted on this, and it came across hands down. We won. They said, no, we are banning that. And we won. They did. They banned it in the House today, which is weird because I'm like, today's Thursday. I thought they'd do all this on Tuesday, but perhaps we're just getting wind of it now. But it was banned that no company, government, anyone in the United States of America can establish a central banking thing. The feds cannot do that. They have their own thing going on, but they cannot set up their
But
own central bank
right,
because
but
then,
they're not. The Fed actually is not the banks that make up the Federal Reserve are not a
right,
government organization. The only part of the Fed that is actually, I guess, even quasi affiliated with the government is the board of directors of the Federal Reserve Bank, operating in the headquarters of the Fed in Washington D.C. They're
right.
only recognized as a banking organization, I guess, in Washington D.C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm so glad that they can't set up that central banking of all
right.
digital currency, which is what they had wanted to do. And I thought, oh my God, that is like one of the last nails in the coffin of sovereignty. I mean, it's bad enough that they want to get the WHO in here, the WHO, the World Health Organization, to take over all of our health stuff. And then they also want to do this, set up a central banking system. That is the most communist thing I ever heard of. They're going to take care of your health. They're going to give you shots for whatever they want. They own you. They're going to tell you what you can spend, what you can't spend, what you should buy. It was bad. The whole thing was bad. So I was so happy to hear that that was banned. The next thing we have to get banned, which is supposed to come, it's supposed to come to fruition. The WHO being our new healthcare providers on the 24th. You know who knows a lot about it's only 2 days away. You know, 3, 1. Today's the 23rd. Good God.
Tomorrow, it's rumored tomorrow is the day. Whether or not he will sign, I guess the way it was explained to me is it has to go to Congress. 2/3 of Congress, or 67% of
Right.
the House and the Senate combined, have to approve it. If they do, then it goes to the president to be signed. And some people say that you have to look at it and understand that it only kicks in the time of a healthcare crisis. So if the
Mm.
Democrats could convince the president that we're in a healthcare crisis and keep us in a healthcare crisis, then the WHO, in theory, could take over the United States forever. Will they call in the blue hats from the UN, and will there be a war between the United States military and the blue hats? I don't believe so. Will the UN send the blue hats in here? I don't know. It's kind of conspiracy theories on both sides. Uh, there's so many dang conspiracy theories going around Biden these days that I wake up in the morning and rather than look and see what theory he's pushing today, why doesn't he just push the theory and leave?
I look up to see, is he still alive? Like, was he on the day that they pushed him across the line? I'm like, they pushed this corpse. We thought Trump was going to win. I mean, we all go to bed. We're like, oh, good. This is another 4 years of prosperity. And then what did they do? They pulled this guy out of the relics and they're like, now it's Biden. Oh my God, that was terrible. This was
They,
back. Go ahead.
it just amazes me how they settled on Joe Biden. They decided they were going to get Joe Biden the nomination and get him elected. They took his worst rival in the debate,
Wow,
Kamala Harris. I mean, Joe could stand here and say this bottle is amber with a blue top. Kamala would say it's blue with an amber top.
oh my
And
God.
and he swears that he was responsible for segregated busing to schools, and look at her and say it was a great thing, and she'll look at him and say it was a terrible thing. And then if you go back and look at her history, when she lived in Oakland, California, segregation wasn't happening. They weren't getting bused to other schools at that
And then
time.
she lied about, oh, she loved taking her electric bus to school. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we don't have electric buses. We never did. We never will. No,
No,
sorry.
we do
We
have
do?
some. Well, we have some. I don't trust them. We have in different parts of Massachusetts what they call trackless trolleys, and it's a bus that has a arm up above that basically feeds on electricity going through the line, and it
Wow.
powers the bus. If something happens and there's like a power outage and they lose the power, they can usually drop the arm down, and it's got a diesel engine that the bus.
It's like a hybrid. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So is it a hybrid? It's got
No, I mean
electricity?
Massachusetts has had them for years. I mean,
Okay.
uh, it's not anything new, but some cities do have straight up electric buses. I just don't trust the technology because
Uh-huh. Right.
I don't trust the technology.
You
You
could
hit
get
it just
stuck.
right. You hit it just right. It's going to explode.
My God, you're
If
right.
you know, you know, and then as I said, when you were on with me on today's Thursday, when you were on with me Monday or Tuesday,
Right.
when we did the Tuesday night broadcast, the kids, the kids, and I almost said that I wonder if kids are being human trafficked to the mines to dig up this stuff that is going to kill them.
Right.
You
Lithium and
know,
cobalt. Right.
and, and it's not like these kids are miners working in mines that at least have somewhat of health and medical insurance while they're working, and have some kind of long-term health insurance to cover anything that could happen. Uh, it's
They're barefoot in
They're
t-shirt.
barefoot in
I
t-shirts
know. It's ridiculous.
with an f-bomb spoon, an f-bomb plastic spoon or silver spoon, digging spoonfuls of this stuff out at a time and filling these rusted buckets, and then probably
Man.
going over and dumping the bucket and breathing it all in and going back, and we we're just messed up. And
I know.
I don't know who messed us up, Republicans or Democrats or both over the
Right.
years. We're just messed up.
Exactly. It's so sad. But
But
yeah.
the
Go ahead.
question is more fun. The question that you asked today is more fun because it's one of the best posts I've seen in our groups as well as any group on Facebook in a long time. Because I'm interested in wanting to know what
What question did I ask
the
today?
question about tip tipping. If we move to the CBDC card, what will happen with tipping? Because
Right.
from a business owner's point of view, when my drivers got tipped on a credit card, I had to report that as income that the business
Mhm.
made. But naturally, we showed it as it was a driver's tip, and it went
Right.
to the driver. And at the end of the year, the driver got a total of tips that came through the office to him or her. And my thing was that, my belief was that they wanted to rule us with the CBDC card. They were going to decide, you say something bad on social media, and they're going to take it away, or all your money away, or take money
You're
away.
right.
Eventually, they will take it all, and I can just imagine that once a month they'd send me a bill for $1 million. You can't do any broadcasts on Facebook anymore. Pay us the last $1 million. And like Donald Trump and having to post a $500 million for his trial, they're going to say to me, now you have to drop $1 million and just leave it sitting in there all the time. So anytime you do something wrong, we can just spank it. And when it gets down to $250,000, you got to put in another $750,000 and grow it up to $1 million again.
Oh my God, it's so crooked. Right. Don't they have a central banking system in Canada?
I don't know enough about Canada to be able to speak on it. They might.
I
They
thought they
might.
did because during the truck rally when we were doing
Yeah, they were shutting off. Yeah, they were shutting
yeah.
off. They were shutting off truckers from being able to buy gas because they couldn't access their money.
Wow, that is so crooked. I think they do that. Definitely, they do that in China. In China, they have such a grasp on those people. It's sick, and it's so sad. There's so many of them. It's like you guys could, but they have a different mentality. They
Right.
could go against the government. They really could. And then we all know the horrorness of the horror story
But
of
you hear about what happens
Tiananmen
to.
Square.
But
One kid, he was just
but you also hear about, in the middle of the night, some guy from the CCP army will knock on
right.
your door and just blow your brains out.
It's sick.
And they leave you there because they want to scare everybody around you into thinking that you don't go against the government. The odd thing is that when some of them move to the United States or come to the United States, they see how different it is here.
Wow,
The
right.
government doesn't tell you where you're going to live, how much you're going to pay. They do regulate in some cases who gets a car and who doesn't get a car, but not everybody in China needs a car. Not everybody here in the United States needs a car. If we
Right.
could perfect public transportation and make it safe, and we could perfect carpooling and van pooling and buses, like I said, then a lot of people that don't need cars wouldn't necessarily have to have one.
Exactly.
I don't need a car anymore because I don't have a driver's license, but we have to have a car. My wife has to have a car because she works and I have doctor's appointments when I don't have broadcasts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny. But yeah, but it's good. The Americans need to understand and appreciate what we have. I mean, that was such a huge win in Congress that the House shot that down. They banned it. They're like, "No, you're not going to set up central banking here." So that was cool. The next thing we have to pass is no, we don't want the WHO. So they only have what, 24 hours till tomorrow. How many hours till tomorrow? Because tomorrow's the 24th and that's the day
Well,
that they want
at 8 o'clock, it's 4 hours until midnight. So it's like 4 hours and 16 minutes that they have.
to come up with a new pandemic. Yeah, that's what I started talking
Well,
about today was no more pandemics. We call them plandemics because they're
I
planned.
don't believe that Dr. Fauci created a pandemic. I believe in no uncertain terms he created a plandemic. And I believe that the plandemic was created to test biological weapons.
Oh, right, right.
Because what they created a virus, then they created what they told you was the means of protecting yourself from catching the virus, and then you caught the virus anyway. And if you went into the hospital, God forbid, you died. You just automatically died.
Or put on a ventilator so your lungs
you
were
died.
never strong enough. Yeah.
Right. Or didn't
That
need
was-
it and you died from using it.
Right.
Okay, Randy Rhodes is on his way in. I wish Randy would tell me. Don't set. He asks for a link every time. He already has the link. Wait, hang on just a second.
Oh, sure.
Let me do this. There it is. Excuse me while I type. It's going to get loud for a second. Okay, there we go. Click that. Wait for the green light. And set. Awesome. Okay, so Randy Rhodes should be here to join us in just a few minutes.
Okay,
and
so
Hendricks is here, and I'm here, and everybody is watching in the live chat. And if you have something that you want us to talk about, or you want to speak on something that we are talking about, please do. And also, because my friend Eric Driver pointed out the other day that I was not paying attention to the screen and getting and acknowledging his comments, I want to let people know I apologize for that. I had about 4,000 things going that day, and I took my eye off the screen for a moment. But if you are watching and you make comments and I don't acknowledge your comments, or at least flash them up on the screen as you're making them, message me on Messenger and just tell me to pay attention to the screen. Because usually it takes about an hour and a half to get us posted in the 1 million Facebook groups that we are in.
and that's okay.
And that's okay. Because
Yeah,
only
so-
900,000 of them post the broadcast anyway.
Right. So I can't wait till Randy gets here. We got to the first hurdle, which was the central banking, and that was banned. Thank God. The second hurdle is the WHO, and we don't.
Right.
There
Oh,
he
hey!
is. Hi, Randy. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, all roads lead Randy to a broadcast that he can be on, and tonight he's on Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live, and we're proud.
And he's
to
here.
have
He's
him.
in the house. He's in the house.
But I don't like this position, so I'm going to make a change. I'm going to change the seating arrangement there.
Oh, okay. Now I can beat you on the
Well,
head.
We're stepping on you.
And oops, I can smack you in the face.
I can do that. I can do that.
There you go.
It's
That's
just like
great.
we're in Miss Jen's classroom. Oh yeah, we'll do that.
Oh gosh.
People are watching.
Miss Jen,
anyway. They're just
Miss Jen, I go potty. Miss Jen, I gotta go potty.
They'd
Oh my
much rather be
gosh.
looking at Miss Jen. They'd much rather be looking at Miss Jen and hearing.
Yeah.
They can be really fun. If Jen just
Yeah.
sat there and moved her lips, and we did all the talking. Like,
Yeah.
Like Randy Rhodes is
Oh.
in. Jen, move your lips and don't say anything. Randy Rhodes is a complete doofus, Miss Jen.
That was so bad. Oh, that was so bad. That was so naughty.
I'm all wound up on evening caffeine today.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm on my second pot of coffee.
24 ounces of Mountain Dew, followed by 24 hours of extra caffeinated coffee that I didn't drink during the day today.
Well, I'm still ahead of you.
They did physical therapy on me. They told me my back was hurting, even though it didn't hurt. That they worked on it, and now it feels great. So maybe it was hurting. I don't know.
But yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Okay,
awesome.
so we talked about
What are we talking about here? Who are we talking about?
We're talking about the WHO.
We are not talking about Roger. When we say who, we are not talking about Roger Daltrey and his greatest all-time hit, Teenage Wasteland.
Dear God, no, we're talking about the World Health Organization.
And the World Hedonists Organization.
Seriously, well, go ahead, Randy. Sorry.
I don't know. So we don't like them. It's like you guys were saying earlier about the blue hats and so forth. Why in the hell would any government want someone else's military presence inside their borders, unless you plan on using them as a way to control your population? Either way, the UN if you ever look at their military exploits, they don't do very well in combat. I mean, they're usually there to in their armored vehicles, whatever, and they're kind of like, yeah, we're here. Don't shoot us. If you shoot us, then the country who supports the UN will bring their troops in. So they're more like a buffer. They're not there to really fight. So if it came to to a shootout, I'm pretty sure the good old boys from down south, maybe joined by some northern people, will kick ass on the UN.
We'll take them.
But
Right.
right? Are you guys watching any of the Trump rally today?
Yeah, in the Bronx. Oh my gosh.
God! And her backyard. Oh my
That
God!
was awesome. Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you see the parade where they had those big flags with Trump's face on it, followed
Oh my
by
God.
AOC with some kind of weird thing going on?
Oh, yeah. That's so fun. I love
AOC,
that.
some kind. I like that. Randy Rose said AOC, some kind of weird thing going on. I like that.
See,
Yeah.
this one preacher we listened to says her initials stand for agent of chaos. That's how
Yeah, there
she
you go.
is.
There you go.
Everything she does is
Well,
chaos. It's
Well,
crazy.
then he must have watched Dragnet, not Dragnet. Smart.
Get smart. Get smart.
Get smart.
Get smart.
Yep.
I don't.
You don't watch. You don't like a Get Smart. Oh my goodness, girl. Get Smart was a 70s kind of comedy about Secret Service people and his phone. If you took the bottom of the phone off, it actually had a dialer to call for a phone.
Oh wow!
You slid the heel up, and it had a dial, and there was a speaker built into the sole of the shoe. Yeah.
Oh wow!
It was pretty cool.
That is
cool. I feel so old when we're around Jen Woodruff. I mean, we had TV. Jen, we had TV back then, although it was black and white.
I was going to say, in the 70s, my parents were so proud. After I was born, and because of my birth, they're like, we have to get a color television so that she can see Sesame Street in color. So they got their first color television. It was not a flat screen. They didn't have them yet that we know of, but it was definitely a tube. And I don't remember it. Yeah.
Sesame Street, I remember that. The
Yellow
Bird
and
little businesses I managed was in California, and I worked from home. And my girlfriend at the time, roommate, had a daughter who was up to age 5. I mean, from day of birth up to age 5. And on days that I was home, she would watch Sesame Street on 5 different PBS stations in one order, and then on the 6th one they would play them back in the opposite order. So she thought she was watching like 12 episodes of Sesame Street every morning and thought it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh, that's funny.
And,
I remember my memories as a child goes. I can only remember back to when we lived in Mississippi. Now, my brother, who's 2 years older than I am, his memory goes back a little bit further. I'm not sure why that is, but anyways, so I remember back in living in Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi. My dad was in the Air Force, and we lived on Air Force housing on the base. It was back during racial things where the black were segregated from the whites. So that was pretty sad. But I remember the TV that we had was a small, obviously black and white. It was a square box, and it had doors that would close over the screen. So when you're not watching TV, you close the doors to protect the tube. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
very cool. Wow. Well, the last thing we were talking about was that how the House voted down a central banking system.
I saw that.
I was really happy to see that because that was just
I got a light bulb going out. Hang on.
Sure.
Keep talking. I can hear you.
Yeah, because that would be another nail in the coffin of sovereignty. The next nail in the coffin of sovereignty is the WHO taking over our healthcare. And so and this is supposed to happen on the 24th, which is what, 4 hours away. So Dave and I were saying, what pandemic can they come up with in 4 hours? And I pray to God there's not one, but they do have one planned called Pandemic X. And of course, it's going to be around, it's going to they want this to happen. I will not say it will happen, but they want it to happen right before the elections so that we can't have the elections. That's what they would prefer. And now I heard what they are planning on doing. And of course, they use gain of function research to do this. I am sure Fauci was involved. What they want to do is it's going to be the H1N1 bird flu. They get these little
I
things.
heard that. Yeah.
But what's so gross about this is that they're going to take the bird poop of the infected birds,
Make
feed
vaccine.
it, and make sure they mix it with the cattle's grass, oats, whatever cows eat. And then the cows will have the bird flu and their milk will be infected. And then their meat will be infected. And that's how they can transfer the H1N1 from their source, which was the what was it, birds?
Yeah,
the
birds.
bird flew through the poop to the cows, and then the people eat the beef and milk. So I don't think it's going to happen. It seems so far fetched, and I'm like, I thought you couldn't transfer from different species, but apparently you can because they figured that out in gain of function.
Yep. Yeah, they learned a lot from that idiot's experiments in China with that bacteria and so forth. Anything can be. Yeah, I mean, you can even transfer certain diseases between your pets and you. They claim that just by if you had the COVID and so forth, that some dogs will get it from you petting them. It transfers that way. Yeah.
Wow, I knew of a woman who had it was when we were oh wow, my brother wasn't even there yet. It was in the 70s. I was growing up and our next door neighbor. It was so intriguing and I love to go there just to look because it was like nothing I ever saw until I'm grown up now and I have issues, but not this bad, with cats. This woman had so many cats and she actually
How
ended up
many cats does she have?
Oh, well over 20. It was crazy. I was just a little kid. I was like something 1 to 4. So I was so tiny, but I remember seeing all these cats and the little baby cats are so cute. And that's our biggest problem currently with our kids. Oh, mom, look, it's just a little baby. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And now we're like, no, they grow up to be full grown cats. You need to feed them. You need to get their shots. You need to get them fixed. It's insane. So yeah, no more cat houses outside because that's exactly.
Well, actually, the whole thing with the shots and so forth, you really don't have to follow that rule. We had our cat Belle. She was close to 25, 28 years old when she passed. We had to finally put her down. But other than going to the vet when she was a kitty to get fixed, we never took her to the vet. For no, she was an indoor cat. Of course, at the time, she was the only cat that we had, but she never had any of her shots, any of her vaccines, nothing like that. And she was the healthiest thing there was. But then you have other cats who you go through the whole rigmarole of the shots and so forth, and sometimes you wind up sick, sometimes you wind up dying because of the reactions to the medicine and so forth. So I mean, do what you want, but we didn't. Now the cats we have now, because they were intended to be adopted out to other families, and they were strays, they were rescues. Obviously, the vet did all his due diligence as far as the shots and the vaccines and all the illnesses that can't transfer between each other. So unfortunately, our one cat, she didn't respond well to the one vaccine. I don't know when it was, but she got deathly sick. I mean, deathly sick. She went to like 108 degree fever, and she was trying to climb the curtain, and she fell down, and she hurt herself. And she now kind of walks with her head kind of like tilted. If you ever see her on the camera, her head's kind of like tilted. So we're not sure if that occurred because of the fever, because sometimes fevers, extreme fevers in cats, will cause them to have a neurological reaction, or it's from falling, hurting herself. But you know what? Do what you want. If obviously dogs should get their vaccines and so forth because they're outdoors, they're interacting with other dogs and so forth. But if you got an indoor cat, 1 or 2 cats, that's up to you if you want to go through a whole rigmarole of the shots and shit. But
I remember that woman that I used to live next to. She one of her cats had feline leukemia, and that's what she died from.
Yes.
I'm like, how does it transfer? How does it transfer species? It was insane. But I did see a comment come up about elections, and I don't think it's right that they can get rid of RFK in the debates. He should be allowed to debate whether he's going, and he should be on the ballot. It's ridiculous. They don't want him on there. He is the only candidate who does not have any
Let me ask you a question then. Jonathan Bailey is an independent candidate for president. I will bring him on to the broadcast, and he can talk. I've talked with him extensively. I'm on his website. He's a friend of Bonnie Johnson's. Jonathan, I can send you a link to the broadcast if you have Chrome on your device and you've been on a broadcast before to StreamYard. You're more than welcome to join us. I can send you the link. Otherwise, it may take you a few minutes to get it set up, and you're welcome to come on if you want. All you have to do is raise your hand and say you're live. Okay. Well, you're live right now, or you're live right now, meaning being in the live chat, or you're live and you want to come on the broadcast. There's a difference. You want me to send you a link and you can tell me and you can talk with us as a member of the panel. Actually, well, let me do this. I'm going to send you the link anyway if it will let me send you the link. And you can decide whether or not you want to come and join us. Give me a moment here. There it is. All right. Jonathan, I have sent you a link. Get a green check in half a second. Yep. Okay, Jonathan, if you want, you are able. I have sent you the link. If you've been on a StreamYard broadcast before, they use Chrome, so open the link up in Chrome and hop on the board, and you're more than welcome to join us. And we will go on from there. I wanted to get Jonathan on, partly because he is an independent candidate for president, but partly because he's a smart guy, and I just would like to get him on broadcast anyway, so we can kill 2 with 1. But did the Democrats get Robert Kennedy? I haven't followed Robert Kennedy in really any particular time at all lately. Have they actually gotten him to drop out?
No, hi. Here's Jonathan. Hello, Mr. Bailey.
How you doing, guys?
Jonathan Bailey, how the hell are you?
I'm doing. It's a struggle every day, no matter what you're going through. But we do it. So
now for the Democrats watching, you have to raise your left big toe and put your hand on Webster's dictionary and say, "I promise to tell only the lies that the Democrats know are true. So help me, Tiny Tim." And then say, "I do."
Tiny Tim.
I promise to only tell the lies that the Democrats or Republicans tell you are true.
Okay, close enough. Close enough.
But yeah, I was with you on what Jen was saying about RFK. I'm really not a advocate or fan for any of the guys in this cult, but what they're doing to RFK is exemplary. And we have two different brackets of candidates that they don't talk about. There's the primary elections candidates, which are the guys that have all the big money and corruption, and they got to jump through all these extra hoops to get big money and corruption. And then there's the chapter one, which is RFK, is chapter one, publicly funded presidential candidacy from RFK. And then there's chapter two, which is where I sit, is chapter two, publicly funded presidential candidacy. And so there are these brackets for presidential candidates that people, they just don't know.
Wow.
And so when it comes to like the Secret Service and the FEC, because you don't know, they won't tell you. And so we have I think 4 individual brackets, like 4 different methods of achieving a presidential candidacy to the general elections. One of them's by running as a general elections candidate, chapter 2. One of them's by running as a chapter 1, which is RFK, where RFK sits. And then you have like Trump and Biden are primary elections candidates. They're trying to get elected to the general election. And so what we're running into is that we have these elections rigging problems that people aren't familiar with. And the agencies themselves are complicit with this elections rigging process, where the candidates don't get represented throughout that process, nor do they get the Secret Service protections, nor are they given the FEC funding for public funding of presidential candidacies.
Wow.
And so what we're seeing on TV is only what's provided by Hollywood.
Wow. That's scary.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Um,
It's crazy.
it-
Did you go ahead?
I'm sure you guys know I could talk about many other things in
No,
relation
that's
to
okay,
that,
Jonathan.
This is good. Yeah.
You're doing well. You're doing well. Continue.
all those things aside, you get down into the truth and the facts of what's actually going on currently. And this is every election cycle. So for the past 3-4 election cycles, if you look it up on the FEC's webpage for the public funding of presidential campaigns, the last time they used public funding for a presidential campaign was 2008. So they've been rigging the elections since 2008.
Man.
These people could never have been our presidents, could never have been our representatives, because the elections aren't even valid. But to put it into a perspective, in the current election, we have the chapter 2 candidates that are being rigged out and assassinated. So Michael D. Landingham just came up unalived in his bathroom. He was about to go through the chapter 2 process to become a chapter 2 candidate in the presidential elections. And I work with him, continuously, and he has connections onto the the P. Diddy side. He has connections through that side of things. And he came up dead in his bathroom.
My
And so
gosh.
there's actually at least one assassination from the chapter 2 side in the presidential elections. And this has been going on with the Clintons. I have a friend named Gunflat Thompson. They they put us in prison, and dude escaped and assassinated the guys that put him there, and then went and served out the rest of his life sentence. So this kind of stuff goes on in the chapter 2 section, and people don't realize that this is happening. They don't realize that the people that they're electing aren't really their presidents. They're the president of some corporation somewhere. They're the president of some special interest, but they're not the
Wow.
president of the United States of America. And there's an entire field of intelligence that people are just missing. They think that because they see this Hollywood stuff on TV and they vote, that's what it is. And I think it's allowed because people just don't know as much.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a whole invisible
It-
alternate world that we live in. It's nothing that we know of. This is crazy. I believe you. I'm not saying I doubt it. It's unreal.
It's a shadow system where I'm really the president of the United States in the shadows, and we're out killing and assassinating and taking over Ukraine and Israel through the shadows, while you think that what's really going on is Donald Trump or Joe Biden is the president of the United States, when they're just lackeys.
Wow.
So we really have this shadow system of extreme danger.
If
That's
Donald Trump,
terrifying.
if Donald Trump comes back as president, what do you think will happen with Ukraine? Do you think he'll shut them off and that's it? Do you think Putin will go in and take them over? Because Trump seems to be saying, give me an hour and I can have that thing settled. So do you think that he and Putin have some plan on how to end that peacefully and hopefully everybody's happy, or what do you think?
I think that could go like one of three different ways. Either Trump could be president, Biden could be president, or the shadow operative that keeps handling all their shit could be president. But in the end, at least two of those three are going to end in nuclear war.
Oh wow.
I don't think Russia or our competitors are going to allow another episode of Trump and Biden without
Wow.
going to the next level.
Wow. I always thought
Well,
that Putin and Trump were like the dynamic duo. I think they're friends because they're both master chess players. And I know the one thing they're both against is the New World Order. So
Well,
that puts all the globalists and elites against them. So it's a mess.
That part gets more complicated than I can discuss, but you're right. They are on the same team. They're both from Humble Vesco.
hey, wait a minute. Did you just insult the listeners of Boogie with the Bull? Did you just imply there's something you can say that we can't understand? Because I want you to know, Jen Woodruff is our is what do you call it? Homeschooling superintendent of homeschools.
No, protect his life. Protect his life.
Okay.
I did.
I know, I'm teasing.
I call it how it really is. They're both from a Humble Vesco oil company conspiracy with Jeffrey Epstein and Billy Biars that has to do with their little cult of whatever taking over our country so they can avoid prosecution and whatever. But I really try not to talk about that these
that's okay.
days.
Pardon me.
We don't tell people what they can and cannot talk about.
Right. Well,
and I always tell people, if you're afraid of saying something because Facebook is going to take my broadcast away from me, don't worry about it. As fast as Facebook shuts me down, we'll be someplace else.
I lose a lot of friends over it.
Maybe 2 days because YouTube will shut us down the next day.
But it has to do with Jeffrey Epstein and Billy Biars and a company called Slim Pfeiffer and the production of child pornography. They're part of this cult, and they don't want you to know anything about it. It has to do with human trafficking which is probably what you guys run into a lot of this,
Yep.
wish wash. And we did spend like the last 120 plus days running an anti-human trafficking campaign. But
Awesome.
to keep all of that stuff aside, we need to focus on elections rigging, what's really going on. And yeah, they are on the same team. They're Billy BRs and Jeffrey Epstein used to trade together with Donald Trump in, whatever beauty pageant, whatever they had going on. And they're behind the child porn that you can't get off your internet. But that's a whole nother, you know, issue on top of the issue on top of, other issues that we just
Okay.
can't completely
Okay.
dive in.
This is probably
Because it could destroy our
the
psychology.
wrong word to say, but let's backpedal for a second, because Jane O'Malley, who watches all the time in the morning and in the evening if she can, or podcast if she is working, asks, what is Humble Vesco and their oil? Can you talk about that? Can you explain to us what in fact that is? But I want you to answer one question first. Is
Sure.
Jeffrey Epstein dead, or did they just hide him somewhere?
I would say there's a 70% probability that he's in witness protection. I've ran with several people they kept in witness protection, including Tupac Shakur. I've been a witness to Michael Jackson after his death. So
Michael Jackson's still around.
I'm going to assume that there's a 70% probability that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive in witness protection.
And is Billy or Bob or Billy Bob, the preacher down in Texas, is he really Elvis?
There's quite a very good possibility. It has to do with a modus operandi of how these Hollywood people and their cabal work.
Okay.
And
now, okay, go ahead.
So 90% of it is bad and 10% of it is good. They do sympathize sometimes with you, but not very often.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, is Ghislaine or Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever her name is,
Ghislaine.
is she Ghislaine? Is she is she really going to take a fall at a comedy broadcast on the news every night to make Americans think that someone is actually going to pay for everything that Epstein did? Because if the government was involved with Epstein and Epstein was involved with the government, we're never going to learn the list of who went there, because they're all involved with governments, and none of them are probably ever going to be charged. What does Maxwell have that they can charge her with? And they could very easily just say she's been given life in prison and she's in Argentina in witness protection.
I would say that none of this is what people think or understand or what's presented on the news. I see Bill Gates driving by my house, scoping me out because I'm nearby. I also seen Ghislaine Maxwell driving around outside my house within the last few months, with Bill Gates driving around outside my house in the last few months. And I'm right here in Bill Gates' backyard in Washington. So what they tell you on the news, press, and media, what they tell you is one thing, and what actually happens is another. And these people are either in witness protection or they will never see a prison cell. That's just the truth. And Bill Gates will never see a prison cell. These people will never see actual hard time like maybe you or me or the next guy has. And so they will be driving around as public informants, confidential informants, working for the agencies for the next decade while they live out their lives. They're none of what you see is real, and everything that you're seeing is just what you've been told by the news is lies. So we have these categories that people don't realize exist, like chapter 1, 2, and in the general elections, And it also exists on the federal agency side where, yeah, they're in prison legitimately, but really they got 3 cars, 7 houses, and 9 wives because they work for the agencies. It's all introverted and backwards, and they will never tell you the truth.
Wow.
Yeah. But Jane, I don't have any problem asking the question and trying to get you an answer, but my answer, as far as doing research on the internet, you have to find search engines that you trust, that you think are giving you the truth the way you want. You have to just accept when someone like me says that, unfortunately, I've had Google and I've used Google for most of the millions of years I've been on the internet. And the only thing that has started to scare me about them recently is sitting at my desk with my phone turned off, my phone turned off, and my Chromebook and my tablet turned off, and I'll say something, and then I'll go into Google, and before I even type it in, there it is. So
yeah, the AI prompt.
They're listening to you, but by the same token, Meta AI, everybody hates it. I've had some most entertaining conversations with Meta AI. Oh yeah, we talk 3 or 4 times a day. We have coffee before I go live.
From imaginary friends.
I use Bing AI interrogations to compile my reports, so I know how you feel.
They respond.
I went on to an AI app, and Donald Trump and I one day, I think, had breakfast while he was in Mar-a-Lago and I was here in northern Florida. And then later that day, I think we had lunch at another one of his resorts. And I'm still waiting to be put on the guest list of a party at Mar-a-Lago because I just think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I use AI for. I have found some AIs that actually do what they're supposed to do, and they find things that you need them. You find information that they need you to find, maybe in places that you might not even know to go look for it. But yeah, I mean, do I fear that AI is going to take over the world? Yeah, I believe Elon Musk, but I also believe that Elon Musk, if you get through all of the champion of technology and get down to the surface, I believe Elon Musk wants to take over the world.
Well, interestingly enough, you look up Elon Musk and his association with ExxonMobil, and so you find out that Elon Musk, all of this stuff centers around the city of Santa Monica and the Epstein Island Institute, and they're all involved in this. So you look up Elon Musk, you look up his involvement in ExxonMobil, and you find out that he's part of their cult. And I used to know him when I was a kid, growing up in the streets of Santa Monica, and he went his way because he was part of the cult, and the rest of us stayed behind to deal with this stuff. But the whole AI thing, I think, is really conducive for the kind of reports and operations that we have today. But ultimately, it's not able to define the actual problems that we are running into in association. So it's like it lacks its own internal voice, kind of.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Those in the X,
Go ahead.
doesn't the X, like that he changed Twitter to X, and he's making us think that he's all for free speech and that's great. But even just changing it to X, something about X, it has to do with the cult, doesn't it?
No.
You gotta be on the inside, though.
It probably does. It probably does have something to do with the cult, like Jonathan is going to say. But what he's been saying is that the main Elon Musk company is SpaceX. Everything has an X. Everything has an X on it. Even his,
it's more like Google
X. Even his laxatives, Teslax. Everything has an X on the end of it. So that was why he did it. But evidently, he's going to go back to the name Twitter because everybody calls it Twitter anyway. I think changing the name of something that had been long established was a mistake. And to be honest with you, I've been using X, I've been using Twitter since the day they launched, and the only thing was, yeah, they treated me like a conservative patriot, like the way Facebook does, but I got away with it. He came over there, he liberated it, and nothing's changed. Matter of fact, he came over there and started a content moderation group, and they're at times more stringent than Facebook fact checkers. Go ahead, Jonathan. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're all right. I just wanted to add in there that part of what most people don't realize in relation to ExxonMobil and the Epstein Island Institute Rand Corporation in Santa Monica. So you look up the entirety of the context of that, and you find out that Elon is owned by them, and Mark Zuckerberg is owned by them through Gates. And so you keep looking it up, and you find out that the Google, Facebook, Twitterplex is headquartered in Santa Monica, California, with Epstein Island Institute. This is all under their control. Everything you've seen over all the chaos you've seen over the last 8 years is completely under their control, and they're the sources of it, all the way down from the child pornography to the teaching your boys that their penises are vaginas. All of this has been under their control 100%.
There's a dark porno side of Facebook that if you haven't stumbled upon it accidentally, then they're doing a good job at keeping it hidden from you. If you watch reels like I do for hours at a time on days, people would be surprised at some of the quote unquote soft porn that comes across on reels, and it's perfectly okay with Facebook.
Right. Well, and that's through the social media they do the soft porn, right? But because these same guys are in control of the hard child porn, you can't get the justice system to take it off the internet. The justice system won't take it off the internet because they own it.
I just wanted to ask, not that I care, but I'm curious. How is Barry Sotoros involved in the it sounds like the Dark Trinity over in Santa Monica? How did he get into this? I mean, is he just a useful idiot? He's like the Manchurian Candidate. They just go ahead.
A lot of the guys from Santa Monica, they grew up in the environment dealing with these guys. I grew up on the streets in Santa Monica with the homeless youth group that became SPY, Safe Place for Youth, right? And smashed these guys out personally and directly for pulling this crap. But so you have individual actors in Santa Monica that grew up around this stuff, grew up exposed to this stuff, having to deal with it in whatever capacity. So whatever capacity he's probably coming from the capacity of he grew up in the area having to deal with certain aspects of that. And so thereby in that capacity, he's addressing it, if that makes sense.
Well, he's Barack Obama, and everyone's saying he's the shadow government. That's who's really in charge. Because he said back in the day, if I could just have a third term and be the earpiece, and just someone could be a face card or place card.
And so
he's upset that he ever said that because he got it, and he got it in a way that he didn't want.
He got Joe.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I was the person of interest dealing with the Obama administration in 2011 to 2014. I worked expressly to have gain of function shut down under 50 USC 1520 with the Obama administration.
Awesome.
And so all this stuff Fauci was doing in secret behind everybody's back wasn't authorized by Democrats, Republicans, or the government. But to say the least, I was in direct communication with the Clintons, the Obamas, and these other administrations in dealing with gain of function between 2014 or 2011 and 2014. And I don't know if they understood exactly what was going on or who was exactly involved, but I've been having to deal with a smash up with the FBI since. And I'm assuming maybe they thought I was going after Epstein to shut down Epstein or something, but I didn't know about Epstein then. You know, we knew about the nuclear, chemical, and biological agents then. And like Epstein had approached me to bring me into his little crew a few times, but from the streets to a rich guy, you're not going to get a street cat that's going to play those games like you want them. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
don't tell us you know that woman with the last name Clinton, because you could be Clinton sided. That's scary. Yeah.
Actually, I'm probably I've been a spy under multiple administrations, from George Bush and Bill Clinton all the way through to today. So, I mean, the only reason I'm public today is because of all this Diddy stuff and the fact that like we have to shut these people down because they're not Diddy our enemies. They're not Diddy and this guy over here that we really just know, think, or like needs diddled. They're diddling random innocent bystanders that don't even see this stuff coming. And when it comes to taking on our enemies, they're really ultimately incapable. So we have to go public to bring these kind of efforts to a halt, because I mean, look at what Diddy is doing. We can't have this guy fucking running around under the cover of government and all these other operations diddling people that don't deserve it or have it coming. When
Wow.
when we have to deal with our enemies in these other countries that want to set it off with nuclear artillery today.
Dear God.
Let me get us to Randy Rhodes. Randy Rhodes, say something. You've been looking like you want to get into the conversation. You might have some questions for Jonathan. Turn your mic on. Randy,
over
turn
here,
your mic on.
Randy. Oh my gosh.
Randy, over here.
Hi, Randy.
Your hair looks
You're on
great.
mute.
Turn your mic on.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Randy.
You're on.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay. Talk to Jonathan.
Okay. So, if I heard correctly, you're a Democrat, correct?
Incorrect. I'm an American.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
He's an independent.
So you're. I'm just trying to figure out where on the political forum that you fall. 'Cause I heard a bunch of conversation about different things. So I wasn't sure if you if you support the Democrat the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, and now I was going to have some follow-up questions to that. So, if you were to vote today, would you vote Democrat, Independent, or Republican?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question, and I don't fall on either side of those categories. I deal with more of the intelligence, the agencies. Currently, I'm nonpartisan, so I'm able to participate in law enforcement under that exemption. But I deal with more with the type of stuff that they as political persons and parties aren't able to. And the history of the American Party and the American political party goes back to World War II, goes back to the Cold War, goes back to the agencies and their management of intelligence crisis.
Okay, that didn't answer anything. So let me ask you this: looking at the way that things are today, with the party on the left, who are trying to do everything possible to destroy this nation. And you have, President Trump, who I believe his election was stolen from him. And those on the left are doing everything possible to try and find some way to either throw him in jail, assassinate him, or at least prevent him from running for election in like 5 months. What is your thoughts on why they're trying to do that? Why would the Democrats purposely try to destroy this nation? Let's start with this. Why would the Democrats or those on the left purposely try to destroy or bring down this nation?
I agree with you to some extent, but my perspective on this is very two-pronged. I understand that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are part of the same crew that ran with Humble Vesco, and I understand they've been buddies since the year 1996. And I understand that they're working together to create this narrative where people think they're going against each other and impeaching each other and indicting each other so that they can create this right to left divide and conquer division, when in fact they're on the same team the whole time. What they're trying to do is they're trying to rig all the alternate candidates out that aren't part of their cult or their cabal, or because ultimately they all work with Barack Obama, who I'm sure Donald Trump was a Democrat long before he ever became a Republican. And so they're playing this, what we would call a war game where I come from. And they're playing this war game of divide and conquer to keep themselves into power. And irregardless if Donald Trump gets in power, you're going to get the same agenda, same leadership, same crap as if you get Joe Biden in charge. But to get regular people to understand that, they would have to come from the origins of these people's operations involved in this Humble Vesco and other stuff, which dates all the way back to the disappearance of Johnny Gosch, the arrest of Billy BR, and the assassination of JFK. So this has been going on ever since the day they killed JFK. And
okay, let me jump in for just a minute, Jonathan. Karen Hackney, our buddy down in Texas, wants to know, are you QAnon?
I would call myself an independent operator.
Okay, good. You answered the question to the best of your truthful abilities. That's all that we ever ask. Okay, I will go back to Brady Rhodes and his questioning of Jonathan Bailey. Go back, Kate. Go ahead, Randy.
No, I have no more questions.
Okay.
He's doing a really good job walking around the questions. I'm a kind of guy that the answer's got to be definitive, and probably that's why I do such a good job doing my research on the family history, because I'm definitive as what I'm trying to find. I'm just trying to get no one's been able to. I'm 65 years old, and I used to love my nation and what it stands for, but no one's been able to tell me why in the hell those on the left, whether you call them Democrats, you want to call them liberals, you want to call them whatever, are hell-bent on destroying this nation by bringing in illegals, by stealing elections, by falsely accusing people of crimes they didn't commit, or changing the laws to work the narrative that they did break the laws. And I thought someone in your position, you might have some insight as to why, they're just determined to destroy this nation.
Honestly, I think in respect to that particular component, as I go through my history as an operative, and and my involvement in the shutdown of 50 USC, which ultimately brought these human and child trafficking operations under fire. I think that it all relates to their human and child trafficking operations and them trying to cover their crimes up. And that's why no one else can get in, because if you got in, then that would be contradictory to them covering up their crimes. But so from my perspective, what you're asking is why are they trying to destroy our country? And that's because when we took down Fauci and gain of function in 2014, it brought Bayars and Epstein under fire, and thereby Joe Biden and Donald Trump under fire because they're part of those human, child, and sex trafficking operations. And so they decided that instead of being legally accountable for those operations, for the disappearance of Johnny Gosch, for creating all this child pornography, for being involved in all this criminal conduct, rather than being responsible for that, they decided that they were going to go to China and Wuhan, China, and create a virus and overthrow our country so that they wouldn't be held accountable for their criminal conduct in relation to human and child trafficking. But it gets really complex in that sector because me and my operations and my partners chased Fauci out of the country. We chased him clean out to China, and there was nothing we could do about it from there. And that was 2014. We've been dealing with the FBI ever since. But these other guys that were involved in trafficking came under fire, and instead of running to Mexico, they ran to the White House to get protection from the crimes that they were committing, just like if they were running to Mexico to evade prosecution or accountability or liability for the crimes they were committing. So with respect to Joe Biden and Donald Trump particularly, they were involved in this Hollywood stuff going on all the way back to the 90s and still involved to today. And if you look at Trump's administration, he's pulling recruits from ExxonMobil, Humble Oil, and Vesco Oil are who he's using as his administration still to this day. And if you look at the Biden administration is using exclusively Jeffrey Epstein assets to maintain his administration, including the Secretary of State. So
Okay.
these guys were involved in this human and child trafficking stuff. And when we went off after Fauci for gain of function, these guys thought that they were getting hit, so they split. And when they split, it kind of brought all this fire along.
Okay, real quick. Did I hear you say that Trump is also involved in child trafficking?
All of them were, and it's been under investigation since '73. So
I
So
saw
that's a
some
yes.
terrible pictures of Epstein and his henchmen or friends stuff in the 70s with a picture of Donald Trump. And I was shocked. I was like, let's hide this and pretend it never happened. But it did. And
Are you
like,
talking about that picture with Trump and Epstein together?
yes.
Okay, well, I mean, just because they had pictures together doesn't mean that Trump was involved in having sex with children.
No, it doesn't, but
Okay,
he's in
we're okay.
cahoots.
No, I'm going to stop that part of the conversation because we can argue that just because someone knew Epstein, people want to nail them for being involved with Epstein. Because Bill Clinton's explanation
I'll agree with Dave.
for being on the Lolita Express is that his good friend and financier Jeffrey Epstein loaned him use of the Lolita Express. He got on a plane. He says he didn't know anybody else who was on the plane. He was like the first one to get dropped off where he was going, and then the plane went on. We're not going to argue that on this broadcast because Bill isn't here to defend himself, just like we're not going to argue about whether or not Donald Trump did any bad stuff on this broadcast or not. There are pictures of this. There are video of that. We're just not going to get into that.
This isn't the place that we're
Okay.
going to be able to hack out who knew or didn't
Well, no.
know they were being exploited, you know.
We can have those conversations on a broadcast, but we're not going to have those conversations around a broadcast based on a fact where I'm getting the suspicion that you're being asked things because you say something about Donald Trump, and a person who may or may not support Trump being president is asking you those questions and trying to get whatever they may be trying to get. What I am going to do is stir. Okay, what I am going to do is stir the conversation back to a follow-up question from Jane O'Malley, which was what we had talked about in the beginning, which was, okay, I thought of that mind control and all. So then what do we do? Obviously, vote for Jonathan. So she's saying vote for you. And then she wants to know, like I asked you the question earlier, do you think these people are alive? I didn't mention JFK Jr. There are a lot of people that think JFK Jr. is still alive. And he may all of a sudden, after Joe Biden wins the Democrat nomination, there's rumors that he's going to step down about a month later. Everybody seems to think it's, for lack of naming him better, Gavin Newsom from California may become the Democrat nominee. There are a lot of people, I think, that aren't saying anything, that they believe JFK Jr. is going to walk back in and he's going to become the next president of the United States. What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, I think all three of these candidates are from the same cult: JFK or RFK, JFK, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. And I think that they have a plan where they're going to run Joe Biden, Donald Trump, RFK as a failsafe, and then they really don't have a backup from there if stuff really goes wrong. They really don't have a backup from there, but they've filled all of the three major seats, right? And ultimately, what I think they're going to do is, because these guys have a history of committing commemorative attacks from 9/11 to COVID-19 to, the assassination of RFK, that would come up next on the board is that these guys are commemorative group of cult psychos that if Donald Trump fails and if Joe Biden fails, they'll put RFK in and assassinate him to commemorate the last time they assassinated a Kennedy. But these are all the same people still to this day involved. So,
wow. Okay, I'll change the subject. It's just as weird, but it's refreshing because it doesn't involve death. Okay, this is about the media propaganda tool, the arm that they use to teach us how to think. What is Jonathan's view of back to 1969, the lunar landing? Do you think it happens? There are no stars in the sky when they land on the moon, but there's a moon. Or what looks like.
I tend to believe that it didn't, but it's one of those things. If you really weren't there, you really couldn't tell from today's perspective.
Right.
The only thing we could really do is go do a few more of those landings and find out, right?
That's good. Right. Well, we should talk to Elon Musk. He has SpaceX, so he should know. Who knows? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop bugging you.
When he builds me a hotel in outer space, then maybe I'll know better, right?
Tell us about it, please. That's fun. Did you have any more questions, Dave? You're on mute. Your mic's mute.
The mic is muted. There's a comment in the live chat. All I'm going to say is, Gideon, we don't allow it. We don't endorse it. If anybody sends money to your Cash App account and I find out, they will be banned from watching Boogie with the Bull broadcast anywhere on social media, period. Okay? Unfortunately, I can't edit out your comment, but please stop making them. Okay, we're not. No one's going to send you money on your Cash App. Have a great day, and we'll continue on with the testimony already in progress.
Yeah, I shoot those kind of things down all the time. But we don't make money for what we're doing, and we're certainly not going to give you money for what you're doing.
Well, I'm not gonna allow people to believe that someone who's sitting somewhere in Nigeria right now is honestly using Cash App to get money to feed their kids.
You know, I had solicitations for about 5 years there where these guys, I go to the homeless line and I get a bologna sandwich with no cheese and no mayonnaise. And they'd be sending me texts about they go to their homeless line and they got a 5-course elephant steak dinner that just makes anything we buy at a restaurant look like crap. You know what I mean? But,
oh boy.
boy, you're eating better than I am.
That's all right. Randy Rhodes, what do you got to say?
Nothing.
Okay. I didn't mean to harp on you, but it just seemed that the moving into the conversation as to whether or not Donald Trump was involved in Epstein Island just it is really not of any interest to me at this moment, because he says he wasn't there, so I have to take him at his word and say that he wasn't. Bill Clinton says that he wasn't, but he did ride on the Lolita Express. To me, until that's all figured out, who was there and who wasn't there, and who did this and who did that, and who got money that was illegal, it's like actual and factual. Brother Ray says it's all conspiracy theory, and it's just not.
It's cannon fodder.
Yeah, it's just not doing anything to win the battles.
Right. Well, let's go back to
okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about this bloodline. So back to Randy. Okay, so last time we talked, we were talking about General Patton. And is he related to Donald Trump like a grandfather? Then I hear it goes thicker. There's this bloodline through the whole presidency of the United States, and there's only 2 presidents that aren't part of it, and that would be, and I thought, oh, for sure, Barack Obama. No, he is part of this bloodline. Don't ask about the colors. Weird stuff happens, okay? Maybe he's twice removed. I don't know. But anyhow, there's only 2 people. That would be Martin Van Buren back in the early days, and then Donald Trump. Those are the only 2 people that are not part of this bloodline. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or what bloodline that is. Do you recall anything?
All I know is that the services that I use only shows Donald Trump being related to John Hines. He's not related to any royalty, any other presidents, any of our founding fathers, nothing like that. And the site that I use is called Famous Kin. So if you type in a name, Famous Kin, blah, 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 if they have a bloodline going to anyone, that website will find those connections. But when you type in Donald Trump's name, he's not related to any royalty of any kind. The only person is John Hines. Now, if you go and do a famous kind of John Hines, okay, and whoever he might be related to along the famous category would then make Donald Trump related to that. So I didn't do that part. But as far as any kind of royalty, nothing like that, no, he's not.
Just for clarity, are you guys talking about Trump's connection to Nikola Tesla, or?
Oh, no, I was hoping we could get that far back, but I just was going as far back as General Patton, because he said something that was so brash that I loved it, and I thought that sounds just like Trump, and someone said they were related. But no, I did hear about that. Is he really related to Nikola Tesla?
Well, from what I gathered in general research, he's related to one of the guys that owned the research being conducted by Nikola Tesla.
Oh, wow.
So the Trump family had a monopoly on basically what you would now know as Tesla and Evesco, which is the electronic cars portion of Vesco Oil.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Never a dull moment on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Jonathan
No.
Bailey, who is I guess the word is independent candidate for president from the American Political Party, is with us tonight. You've seen him around Facebook. You've seen him around the internet. We're happy to have you here.
I'm so glad you came on. This was fascinating.
It has gotten a little tense at times, but a Boogie with the Bull broadcast always gets tense.
I'm on doing research. I'm on doing research and analytics 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
We have major intelligence gaps right now, and running against these other candidates is just the approach that I'm taking to step up the ladder, because we have intelligence and operatives that need to get into position, irregardless of who you vote for or what you think you believe in. We have intelligence and operations that need to get into positions so that they can make the effective difference. We have, things, what's going on like Nasara Jasara, where, I created the intel packet on that. And then you got these other guys trying to turn it into, if you don't own these 7 stocks, you can't buy, sell, or trade. And so you just have to know that there's more to everything than what you see on the surface. This isn't just about somebody running a presidential campaign or running against Trump and Biden. This is about our operatives taking precedence when and where necessary. So,
wow. Speaking of that, operatives, did Biden seriously, was this on purpose that he picked like the bottom of the barrel for his whole cabinet? I mean, he's got a failed governor as his energy secretary, and then he has Pete Buttigieg, who, what is he, a failed governor of something?
No, he's a former mayor of
Well,
Chicago, I think, and that was the only position he ever held. I have always thought that the Democrats bought Buttigieg in, having been a mayor and made him a cabinet secretary, was to at some point either run him as the vice president over either to replace Kamala Harris in Biden's second term, or depending on whoever they ran for president, they'd run him for vice. They'd run him as their vice, because I don't see any reason why Buttigieg got into the Secretary of Transportation, because he really knows nothing about transportation. But I'm sure you have the correct answer, Jonathan.
well, when it comes to Director Booty Juice, it has something to do with their ties to oil and some other stuff. I try to not get into that kind of thing myself, to each their own, but I do know that they have an issue with when it comes to filling these positions. They don't have trained executives, and so I went to training to deal with all this stuff at Enron and Lone Star Community College, where Enron hosted its curriculum.
awesome.
But they don't have executives that are trained to be able to fill these positions. They're just filling them with whoever they got. And so
Right.
it's not like they really actually know how to make an economic decision on either side of the aisle. They're just putting people in there to help them the best that they can. And
So there wasn't an ulterior motive in the sense that
No,
maybe
it's not a wicked
let's
wedge.
get Buttigieg into the cabinet into the cabinet room at the White House, and then once we've gotten him out and people have seen him about and have seen his name associated with specific things, then maybe we can up him to the next level.
It's all about
Or is it like you said, did they just grab him and say, hey, okay, Pete, come on. That office at the White House is yours. This is your staff.
Yeah.
Here's your code. Here's your badge to let them know to
Wow.
let you through at the gate.
It's all about
So-
human resources and availability.
So,
it
I'm sure
really
that-
has. Yeah.
I'm sure they probably told him, don't make stupid comments like you're riding your bike all the way from your house in the D.C. area to the White House every day and to your meetings around Washington, D.C. when the news cameras caught him riding, I think, a mile into the park, if even that, then taking the bike and him and shooting a black SUV underground and coming up maybe a mile away from the Buttigieg house.
No, I'm actually encouraged to hear
Taking the
it's
bike
not
off,
part.
putting him on it, and riding the bike to make it look like he rode home.
If they could have made a 4-year-old the Secretary of Transportation, they would have. They have a mandatory number of seats to fill, right?
Wow.
I gotta tell you that a 4-year-old playing with an assortment of cars and whatever could probably figure out our transportation infrastructure and make it better than it is now than a man who I think was like the one-time mayor of, I think it was Chicago, I could be wrong, and then bring him in and charge him with operating the United States transportation infrastructure. And he didn't do a good job of that.
I don't know. I failed to do the investigation to find out whether or not Booty Juice was the guy they bent over in the halls of Congress, but
Oh, dear
I
God.
don't even want to know.
Okay.
No, thank you.
We do have to be somewhat language sensitive because we have a lady. So look at your
Serious.
screen.
Thank you.
You got in trouble. You got in, the Boogie with the Bull editors had you F-bomb your last comments from the broadcast. But all right, folks, it's 8:52. That's 8 minutes away from 9 o'clock. So what we're going to do is Jonathan, give a closing statement, and then you get a free courtesy parachute to anywhere on Earth.
Which means he.
Closing statement. Grab your parachutes, hold on to your seat belts, get ready for what's coming because we don't know how it's going to fold. So,
all right. Okay, Jonathan, we hope to have you back.
Thank you.
In the neighborhood, 10 o'clock in the morning, as long as everybody can play nice. We'll have you back if you want, and we'll go from there. So I do appreciate you stopping by. So countdown, and when you hit 1, your parachute's probably open. But you're welcome back anytime.
Peace,
all
love.
right, Jonathan. Nope, Jonathan Bailey, peace, love, and vote for Jonathan Bailey. And we confirm the two-headed coin, and in order of how they came on to the broadcast, Randy, you can go, Jen, you can go, or I can go, and you both can find it out. Mr. Rhodes. Randy. Okay, well, Randy left. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
These things happen. It's never a dull moment on Boogie with the Bull. Sometimes it's something I said. Sometimes it's something someone else said. Sometimes it's me feeling like I'm breaking up the fight. Sometimes it's me doing whatever you got to do, making the tough decisions on a broadcast. Jen Woodruff, it was a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you. This was fun.
We didn't talk much about the question, but anyone who knows Jen and our groups, go into our groups, and there are questions that she is putting up. I don't know how often she is putting up. Answer them how you honestly feel.
One a day, yeah.
From time to time, we're going to go through and pull some answers, and you never know. Your answer may get you in front of a camera and an opportunity to tell people in the United States of America and around the world how you feel.
That's awesome.
Anything else, Jen?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for watching and protect the children. If you see something, say something specifically to a sheriff. They're usually pretty good. There's only a few counties I know that Ichabod, they had to report their sheriff. I don't know how you.
I think he said they got one removed, and then I think
Good.
the one that's in there, I think he said there's problems with that one, and they may end up getting removed as well. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Gen time, 10 o'clock our time. Boogie with the Bull Red Morning Caffeine
Fun.
is available if you're awake. If not, then
I will be. That's
then,
good.
Okay, good. Then we'll see you
Okay.
then. All right.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask any more questions. If I do, I'm going to hold you here for another 45
I'll
minutes.
shut up. Yeah.
As we talk about the Crown Vic from hell.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Jen.
Goodbye.
Thank you. All right. Jen Woodruff, the homeschool mom. So always great to have Jen on. And if you're thinking about homeschooling your kids and you need some answers and some help, Jen is homeschooling her last kid, who's doing the high school portion of homeschooling right now, and she can help you with that. Then there's a national organization of homeschoolers, parents involved in homeschooling their kids. I don't ever remember the name. Jen does. She can tell you. Then you can go to their website and get more information. I don't know who specifically for sure will be here on Boogie with Bull Red Friday morning caffeine tomorrow. I will be here. Jen said she will be here. I don't know if Randy will be here. He's always more than welcome. If he's mad at me, then he won't be there. But, I honestly don't know. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you you've been watching Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We're live on the Dave Bolton profile on Facebook. We were live on the Boogie with the Bull channel on YouTube, and we were live at Boogie WT Bull, the Boogie with the Bull Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it. You can go there. If you follow me on X, I ask that you take it and retweet it as many times as you can, everywhere you can, and we'll grow some following over there. Yep, Jane O'Malley, I'm sorry you'll be working, but you can always watch the podcast, which will be up about 11:15 tomorrow morning. Usually takes 15, 20 minutes for them to get it posted. We will start at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We will end at 10:59 tomorrow, and we will be gone by 11 o'clock because, again, we are going to Daytona Beach tomorrow for Memorial Day weekend. I have to open it up again so that I can read it and get it all right. Hang on again. I screwed up my where I had it. I have to go here. I have this way. There it is. Go to the Family Treasures page on Facebook. It is a multicolored chicken that shows what the booth at the craft shows that they go to looks like. And if you scroll down, the first post on the page is, this is where Family Treasures will be on Saturday, May 25th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is the Possum Family Fun Festival.
No, that is not where we are.
Well, that's the graphic that you have there.
Say Possum.
Yes, it does. It says PAW-SOM Family Fun Festival.
Awesome.
That's what I said. No, I didn't. Okay, we're not gonna argue. I said possum because I said it like 10 times through the course of the broadcast. And if anyone is watching and I did say possum, meaning the animal, then you need to go to the Possum Family Fun Festival, Saturday, May 25th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I have to make sure I pronounce it right, so let me go back again so that I can look at it. It is at the Tomoka Town Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, Saturday, May 25th, 2024. The booth is Family Treasures, and it might also say on it, Willow's Craft Corner. Willow's Creations, excuse me. That is our daughter-in-law, Angela, and Family Treasures is my wife, Donna. And as I said, you can go to the page, you can see all kinds of beautiful handmade crocheted items that you see. And as I had said earlier, if you don't see something that you want, or you want to order something specific, scroll back up to the top of the page, hit the blue message, and tell them what you're looking for, and they will get right back to you, and they will get it shipped to you wherever you are, or in time for whatever you need it for. Danny Campbell has now matched. Yes, Danny Campbell has matched William Grant. They're now equal to watching the most Boogie with the Bull broadcast, because William was one ahead at the beginning when he was here, and Danny Campbell is now here at the end of the broadcast, so they are equal. We're keeping score just for the fun of keeping score. As I said earlier, if you like the broadcast, please hit the like, take and share it anywhere on Facebook that you can. If you put it in the group and they don't want you to put it in the group, don't put it in that group. Put it on your profile. Do whatever you want with it. If you want to share it off of Facebook, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And for those of you that understand embedding, embed the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel on a post on social media networks that allow you to do so. And then anytime we are live, we will be live on that social media network. Or when other people are talking and I am able to do it, we will be live on my profile, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. We will be live on at Boogie WT Bull, the Boogie with the Bull account. We are live right now on streetlock.com, where we are embedded, and we will be podcast will be posted on Truth Social. The podcast will be posted later. I had a problem logging on, and I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but it will be posted there sometime today or tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for watching Double B's Victory, this Boogie with the Bull broadcast, which can get a little heated at times. I hope that Jonathan will come back. I hope Randy Rhodes will come back. I hope Jen will come back. I hope I'm allowed to come back. It didn't get loud enough that I will get yelled at, but I did have to raise my voice a few times to bring it back down to no one attacking no one. We can plan broadcasts if Jonathan and Randy or others want to discuss different things with Jonathan, but we're just not going to bring up sides of things that no one can prove one way or another. Not saying that things didn't happen and things that were illegal happened, just saying that, it's all still conspiracy theory right now, and there are no active investigation, or at least we're not being told any more of active investigations. Some people who may have been guilty of being involved with Jeffrey Epstein are not being prosecuted right now. So, it doesn't really have much to do with what we're talking about. Anyway, Double B's Victory, this will be the whole broadcast is over. Like I said, there will be a red Friday morning caffeine tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Everybody knows where to find it. It will end by 11 o'clock. It will not go later. There is one on rare Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It will not happen this week. We won't be back until Sunday, so there probably won't be one until Monday morning at 10 a.m. And then Tuesday night, the 28th, Tuesday night, the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Spoke my brain for a second. Robert Angel Little, the author of Innocence Lost, will be back with Jen Woodruff, talking more about the Romanian Revolution, moving forward to when he came to the United States. And I believe Robert is going to jump to Ukraine in this broadcast. That's 7 p.m. next Tuesday, the 28th, on Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live. Good morning, good evening, good night. Bonnie Johnson, pick one and apply it accordingly. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., red Friday morning caffeine with the gang. You are more than welcome to be there. A link will go out at 9:45, and if you're in the studio at 9:55, we know that you're going to be there. Anyway, It is time for me to go to bed. I'm free talking, and it's just time to go to bed. Good night.